Welcome, everyone. I want to welcome all the grandmas. And I want to welcome you if you're a grandma indeed, or if you are someone's adopted grandma. Welcome to Grandma's Only. This is a place where we are endeavoring to pass along to another generation the wisdom of the ages, which we have acquired through the crucible of life. Today, before we start, we're really just going to welcome in the month of March and Fat Tuesday. We're going to welcome Lent. We're going to welcome in St. Patty's Day, and we're going to welcome in spring, first day of spring. It all happens in the month of March. How cool. Now, before we begin, we want to put our essential oils on because this will help us facilitate higher thinking and that our emotions will match what we are telling ourselves. We will have elevated emotions. Today, I've chosen to put on one of the emotional aromatherapy oils, cheer. And these oils are available through doTERRA, of course. They're called proprietary blends. They have been blended scientifically so that they amp up whatever it is that they say, cheer. And then we have motivate and passion, forgive, console, and peace. And all of them live by their name. So they're very easy to figure out what to use. You don't have to be a doctor or scientist or an herbalist. Now, if you don't have those particular oils, then go for the flowers. Well, the clary sage is not a real big flower, but it is a flower. And then the geranium has a beautiful flower, and it's a very deep, rich scent. Helichrysum is not a big flower. It's a little white flower, but it is a powerful, powerful essential oil. And the wild orange, you think more of the fruit, I suppose, but there's also a white blossom. And actually, the oil comes from all different parts of the orange tree. So it's not just one part. Today, after you get your essential oils on, we want to talk about how can we inspire our children through Fat Tuesday and Lent. Now, traditionally, Fat Tuesday has meant that we eat everything that we're going to give up for the Lent, right? So there's just this very common knowledge that Lent is about giving things up. And Fat Tuesday is about eating it all before you have to deprive yourself. And then traditionally they throw in a bunch of pastries and things to make it really a Fat Tuesday. Okay. So that's kind of just the outside look at that, because Lent in itself also means, denial. It can mean prayer time. It can mean fasting, a time of fasting. It basically means that you aren't you're not doing things that you normally would do, actually. You've given them up for a season, which is 40 days, not including Sundays. Now, I want to present to you a whole different meaning. And it wasn't hard to find the meaning because I looked up the word Lent. And the true meaning of the word, the source of the word, etymology of the word, is spring. Isn't that amazing? And isn't it kind of a coincidence that spring is in the month of March, and so is Lent, which means spring. It was a little slightly different connotation of the word Lent. It was lentus or something like that. Now, spring means to bring forth. It means to hurry up. It means the going forth. So it has a lot of meaning about coming out, newness, acquiring things. For us to really understand, I just want to use a little story, and perhaps in a metaphorical way. I want you to see if your mind can get around this little story. Think of yourself as a seed. And if you want the seed to grow, you can't just leave it laying on the counter. You have to bury it. Now, don't leave me when I start talking about burying in the grave the seed. Don't leave yet. You see, even in the resurrection story, that was not the end of the story, was it? So stay with me. So the little seed gets buried underground. It is self-contained. It's sort of what the scientists would call imaginal cells are contained in this seed. This seed came from a plant. And that plant came from a seed that came from a plant, and that plant came from a seed, came from a plant. And this particular seed, us, came from a plant, God. Well, physically, we came from our parents, who came from a seed, their parents, which came from a seed, their parents, and on back. And spiritually, it all goes back to God. We all have one source. The seed contains the whole. I didn't add anything to this. When I put the little seed in the ground and I'm expecting it to grow into a huge sunflower that might be 10 feet tall, the seed is this big. How in the heck did that sunflower get in that seed? But it did. It is. The magic is in that seed. Acorn. You know the story. Big old oak tree comes from this teensy-weensy little acorn. How in the heck is that possible? But that is you and I. We are, at some point, we're like a seed, and we are placed in the ground. And we're our families. We have large families around us, extended families and friends even. For the 40 days, think of that as the soil that they're planted in. And they're placed in this soil. Now, is that soil just nothing? Is it just neutral? I don't think so. See, the soil either contains the nutrients and the water, or it does not. Now, we know from the Bible, if the soil is dry and rocky and producing nothing but weeds and thorns, it will be very difficult, if not impossible, for this little seed to grow. But what if, Grandma, you and I know how to water, don't we? We know how to pick up the watering can. We know how to give nourishment to our family, physical nourishment. We can also give them spiritual nourishment, talking about the goodness, the love, and the joy of the Creator God who calls himself Daddy. We know how to give water. We know how to the water. It talks about the water of the Word. And what is the Word? The living Christ. Jesus said he is the living Word. So we get to, not just by name, not just by talking about Jesus or talking about God or talking about Christ. No. The power is in the doing. The power is in the love. So as we nurture our family with the love of the living God, whether it's through our prayer times, but also by whatever we do all, because we want to honor him, but we honor him by honoring and loving others. And we get to do that. And that we do it because we ourselves are already nurtured. I like to say we're awake, we're alive, and we is aware. Because we've lived long enough. And we've finally burst through our 40 days, so to speak, into the glorious sunshine. And there we are. And the little seed in itself contained everything it needed for life, but it didn't have the food, the nutrients, the environment, the water, or the sunlight. Didn't have that, did it? That's what you and I get to do. We get to pour on the love, pour on acceptance, pour on inspiration, pour on encouragement, and also pass on our love of all the positive things in life which will help us in those areas, such as, we want to give them good, wonderful meals that actually energize. We want them to learn from us to think in terms of goodness and grace and love. And it does not matter what the circumstance is, but our perception is key. So teach our families through our example. We are not sitting around with our lady friends complaining about all the young people in the world. We're not sitting around complaining about our lives, and we certainly aren't sitting around with our neighbors and friends complaining about our health and how people treat us and all of that. That's just junk. I mean, that's all the junk. That's just the stuff that we just absolutely do not need. It needs delete, delete. But when we use the essential oils, when we feed ourselves well, when we put and we're going to do a whole lesson on the contemplative life, because I think that the key is found in that myself, the contemplative life. So today, if you take something away, I want you to take away that we get to help our families renew their minds in the grace that is theirs, that they are God's kids, that they are loved, that they see themselves through His eyes, that they grow and reach for bigger and better dreams every single day. And at some point, and actually children almost have an innate sense of light and life and love when they pop into this world. And they kind of learn away from that from us, because we've been in, not just us, but the whole world around them, teachers, friends, everybody, somebody's going to come along with a down in the mouth opinion. And sometimes it can be very hurtful, and it ends up being a thorn in their side, and it's very hard, but we get to undo that. That's what our legacy can be. Let them receive from us the riches of a grace-filled life. Until we meet again, put your oils on.